Well, the role of a commissioner is simple, is to be the mouthpiece of their district. When I'm elected, I'm going to represent roughly 14,000 people of District 11. So that is the number one responsibility of a commissioner, is to represent the people in their district and to do things that'll help Caddo Parish as a whole. Next is budgetary. Maintaining and overseeing the budget of Caddo Parish, making sure we're spending money wisely. Next is doing ordinances that will help create jobs in Caddo Parish, that will benefit the people of Caddo Parish, and not doing things that will drive people away. Next is levying taxes. That's a responsibility of the commission, and as I said, taxes are high enough as it is. So that's responsibility straight from the parish charter. And outside of that, those are the responsibilities of a Caddo Parish commissioner. Well, it's economics 101, budgetary 101. You got to have enough income coming in to pay for the things that are going out. You make a list of your wants and your needs, and if you have too many wants, you have to cut them off to pay for the things that you need. A parent sitting down at their table at night, getting their budget for their family, that's budgetary. You have to make sure you have reserves that'll last just in case you lose your job. In business, as a manager, I oversee a organization, a location, and it's my job to bring in revenue to pay for what's going out. And that's budgetary for a very large organization and business here in North Louisiana. Even at church, my church, we're seeing decreased revenue. And we're trying to figure out right now how we're going to make cuts. And they're going to be hard cuts that we're going to have to make. That way we can make sure the lights are on, make sure we have water, and definitely right now in 100 degrees that we have air conditioning. So that's just simple budgetary. No matter how big or small your budget is, you got to make sure you have enough to sustain in a reserve account or rainy day fund. You got to make sure that you're meeting your wants and needs. And if your wants exceed your needs and exceed your income, you just don't go to that movie. You don't go out to eat to pay for the things that you need. I think they all need to be separate. The people of District 11 is very diverse. It composes Keithville, Southern Hills, and a little bit of West Shreveport. The people of Keithville should not have to shoulder the responsibility, and frankly, Oil City, Vivian, to pay for trash pickup in Shreveport and those shared services. The parish charter states that the money for the parish goes for the parish, and it takes 8 votes to override that. So as it stands right now, there's not enough votes on the commission to override the charter. And frankly, representing a part that is not part of the municipality of Shreveport, the people of Keithville should not have to show that responsibility. That's taxation without representation. And so if they're not going to have a voice on how that money is being spent in the city limits, it shouldn't be used. Just because the city of Shreveport and its leadership has been spending money unwisely over the last how many ever years. It's not the people of Keithville, Oil City, Mooringsport, Vivian. It's not their responsibility to pay for that. Tax cuts. I firmly believe in cutting taxes and giving incentives for businesses to come here. There was a logging company that wanted to come here. They wanted to bring 200 jobs making $20 to $22 an hour. There was a bridge leading to that was in horrible disrepair, could not sustain the trucks necessary to go to that site. They went to the parish and said, "Hey, would you fix this?" The parish said no. They went to Texas. And those people in Texas are receiving those great jobs that the people right here in Caddo Parish could have had. So we need to be smart. We need to fix our roads. Good roads is what brings good jobs here. We need to make sure that we cut the ad valorem property tax whatever percentage that we can get through the commission, and give them incentives for new businesses to come here. People are leaving. People my age and younger are going to Dallas, going to Houston, going to Austin, going elsewhere to look for jobs and opportunities that are not right here in Caddo Parish. So government does not create jobs, but what government can do is create an atmosphere that will be beneficial in creating jobs. Well, we have the highest property taxes of anybody in the state, parish-wide. We are taxed more than Orleans Parish. We are taxed more than New Orleans, which is a crying shame. They get all the revenue from tourism. They get, their bigger population. Caddo Parish is on the decline. People are leaving. They're going to Bossier, going to Texas, going to Stonewall. So they're leaving Caddo Parish. So we do not have as much revenue as we did before. I'm a very big proponent on cutting property taxes. I think if you strangle people long enough, they will leave. And as we've seen, people are leaving Caddo Parish. As of right now, I would not support any renewals. I think we need to start making cuts to property taxes in these mills. We're spending money recklessly, as the Parish Commission is. $11,000 to the Stuffed Shrimp Festival. Ridiculous. I think was several thousand to a adult sorority to have an event here that was already paid for. If it was paid for, the people of Caddo Parish should not have to pay for that. So while they're spending money recklessly, I am not going to go back to the people of Caddo Parish and say, hey, keep paying as much as you have. I want to be giving the money back to the people. I believe people can spend money better than government any day. Well, it's going to take community involvement. I know that there's a group of folks that do not want to see this completed. I want to see it completed. It's going to bring new opportunities for Caddo Parish, and also will help Shreveport as well. It's going to bring new people here. They're going to drive right through Shreveport. And we have some of the best restaurants right here. We have you can find the greatest food in the world right here in Shreveport. And they're going to be coming here, staying in our hotels, or eating in our restaurants. So we're going to create revenue with that. So I will do everything that I can within my power as a commissioner to see that this gets completed. And if that means working with anybody that I can to get it done, well, we need to get it done. And I will work with anybody to get that completed. It's important. Well, I would make sure that these new codes would be beneficial to creating business. I know that there's some people who are against them, some people who are for them. We're going to have to work together to get it done. We're going to have to do what makes the best sense for Shreveport, for Caddo Parish. It's going to take a wide range of opinions from the City Council to the Mayor of Shreveport to the Parish Commission to make sure that we have the best possible code to bring businesses here. Now, I haven't seen all of these, so I'm not going to comment because I'm a firm believer if I don't know what I'm talking about, keep your mouth shut and don't make yourself look like an idiot. But I do know that we need something that makes sense. The old code that I do know about did not work, and that's why the director's gone. That's why there was a big public outcry against it. So we need to do something that's going to be smart and beneficial for the people of Caddo Parish. Well, speaking internally about working with other commissioners, I could sit here and give you some canned jargon about we're all going to work together, hold hands, and sing Kumbaya. Well, I have very serious reservations about that. As we saw a few weeks ago, we had 6 commissioners get up and walk out of a meeting on one of their colleagues. Most of those commissioners are coming back to the commission. And I have a really gut-wrenching feeling that we're going to have the same. We're going to have 6 Republicans, 6 Democrats. There's not going to be a lot that's going to get done. There will be things that we will be united on, but then there will be things that we'll be divided on. And there will be some contention between the members. So I'm not going to sit here and try to blow smoke and say, hey, it's going to be candy and flowers and champagne. It's not. It's going to be hard work. And there are going to be times when my hairline is probably going to recede another 3 inches compared to what it is now. But we all need to work together. There needs to be uniformity within the government of Caddo Parish. Now, working well with others, you know, Caddo Parish Commission has a AAA bond rating. We need to set the example to other municipalities on how to run government. We can make suggestions to the mayor, if the mayor is open to it, say, hey, look, this is what we've been doing. Why don't we help you and show you what the commission's been doing to be so successful, and other members of city council, and y'all start doing it. I was told, look at what the city of Shreveport and the city council is doing and do the exact opposite to be successful. And so there are things that the commission will do separate from the city council, from the school board, from the state legislature, and there'll be things that we'll do collaboratively. I do want to work well with everyone. I think we all need to be standing together as citizens of Caddo Parish, not just representing a certain group or certain party. We're all one. We're Caddo Parish, and we need to put Caddo Parish first. The first thing is we've got to get serious about our NGO funding. We've got to get serious about it. We're spending money. We're spending more than what we're bringing in. We're having to get into the oil and gas reserves and other reserve accounts to pay for the general fund. That's reckless spending. And if we keep going at that rate, Caddo Parish will not be a AAA bond rating. That's priority number 1 for me, is control the spending, get a real balanced budget, and make sure we have enough in a reserve account for any type of catastrophe to happen. And so another priority of mine when I'm on the commission is water. I would like to create a water alliance where all the water districts, and if the city of Shreveport will get on board, I would love to have them on board, where they all communicate. So one day we don't wake up with a letter in our mailbox saying, hey, we have a brain-eating amoeba in our water. You can't drink it. You can't do this. You have to do this. And then we have a situation that happened over in Bossier. Next is jobs. We've got to have good paying jobs here. That is a number 1 priority. If we want to keep our best and brightest here, we've got to have jobs for them that will sustain them and keep them here. I'm going to be here realistically for the next 50, 60, 70 years, however long the Lord lets me live. I've had so many opportunities to leave Caddo Parish and work and make far more money than what I do now, but I decided to stay. Caddo Parish is my home, and I want to work to make sure that we have the jobs here to keep our best and brightest here. And that way when when I'm older and I'm able to sit back, say, look, the decisions I made how many ever years ago are helping you now. And so I'm going to be beneficial to that even 60 years down the road when I'm still here. If I'm still here.
Okay.
The number 1 thing of a parish commissioner service. I work for Roseneath Funeral Home and Cemetery. I've been in the funeral industry for about 8 years, working my way up to where I am now. I've done every job, from helping dig graves to the sales to management, and it's the same thing as serving other people. And that's what the Caddo Parish Commissioner is supposed to do, is serve others. Being able to do things for people to help them. That's what's prepared me to be a parish commissioner. Listening to other people's concerns, customer service, listening to their concerns, and trying to find the best way to rectify their problem and say, hey, look, we're going to do this going forward. If someone has a problem within my cemetery, I can do what I can to correct their problem. If that means going to work, going to our ground supervisor and saying, hey, y'all need to cut this grass, or you need to do this, you need to replace this headstone. It's customer service. And that's what best prepares anyone for elective office, because you're there to represent others and to serve others. Man, that's a loaded question. Everything, that we've talked about, NGO funding, that's going to be a tough fight going forward for the next commission. Budget, that's going to be very, very important. And I can't stress this enough. We will lose our AAA bond rating if we do not get our spending under control. I will support the measure that Commissioner Middleton put in place. Let's suspend the NGO funding for a year. Look at the auditor's report. See where we need to find corrections and correct it. NGO funding is not meant to be perpetual funding. It's there to help start up organizations. It's early seed money, and after about 3 years, it's supposed to stop. And we need to get back to enforcing that, but it also does not need to be a way of patronage for commissioners' friends to pay for their organizations. We have to get serious about it. We have to get serious about NGO funding.